Hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful week of Power 10 Sports Talk. I'm your host, as always, Andrew Gibb, and joining me this week, the Bearcat bandwagoner, John Sacco.
Sir, there's not bandwagon there now, but there will be.
Yeah. One of 6 Clipper fans in the world, Brady Gibb.
God.
And our special guest, who's a 3-sport athlete in high school, who then went on to get a Bachelor's of Science in Youth and Family Ministry at Cincinnati Christian University, moved to Tuscarawas County, where I met him at church, is now the assistant football coach for New Philadelphia and the JV coach for New Philadelphia Wrestling. All around, just wonderful person to be around, Matt Miller.
What's up?
Yeah. Give you a little round of applause as always.
Actually, I don't want to get yelled at, so it's middle school wrestling coach.
Okay.
JV. I mean, I do help, but that's fine.
All right. We'll clarify.
I don't want to get beat up by bigger, stronger wrestling coaches.
Oh no.
Good one.
Yeah, they pick on the weak.
We don't want that to happen, but if it does, we'll be there to film.
Yeah, we'll be there to record it.
Make sure.
Like a World Star video.
World Star.
All right.
Forgot
And
about this.
I think they still happen in 2021.
I hope so.
There's definitely got to be somebody out there still yelling World Star as somebody gets in a fight.
I think I'm gonna start doing it again.
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
always fights at football practice, especially in like the summer.
I'll have to check the Chase Claypool footage, check and see if somebody yelled World Star as he was beating those guys up. All right. So before we get into the news and all that, I know I have some questions for you that I think people would love to hear you answer. I don't know if John or Brady brought any, but I know I have some. I think they're going to test you a little bit. Starting off with being from Cincinnati, how'd you end up being a Blackhawks fan? I know you're a Reds fan. I know you're a Bengals fan, but I've always wondered why the Blackhawks.
Oh, Cincinnati.
I am not a Bengals fan. I am a Bears fan.
Oh, that's even worse. Yeah.
It is worse. The reason I'm a Blackhawks fan and the reason I'm a Bears fan and the reason I'm not a Cubs fan is because my mom's whole side of her family, like all my cousins and everything, live in Chicago. And I used to love just being around my Chicago family. And I never really got to go to any football games when I was a kid. I mean, I went to a couple Bengals games with my dad. It's like sweet tickets or whatever for work. And they would always play the Bears or like the Colts. And my dad was a big Colts fan, and I'm a big Bears fan. Neither of us were really Bengals fans, but we lived in Cincinnati, Dayton area. So, but yeah, my uncles were way cool and super awesome, and they loved the Blackhawks, they loved the Bears, they loved the Cubs. I just couldn't get into it because it's $5 to go to a Reds game, and I think I've probably been to over 300 in my life. So I've just been a Reds fan my entire life. My dad grew up Reds fan. But my uncles really stuck with one team their whole life. I got a Blackhawks wallet when I was like in second grade for Christmas, and I was like, this little Native American dude is cool, and that's why I just stayed with it. And eventually they got good. So I was 2015 was great for me.
Yeah. Young Patrick Kane.
Yeah, we drafted Kane and Taser in 07, and it was like, all right, they're a couple years older than me, I think. Keep moving around. Yeah, they're a couple years older than me, so I was like, oh, that's kind of my age. And I actually played hockey up until 8th grade, so that was 8th grade. It became pay to play, and my dad was like, no.
Yeah, you weren't good enough at hockey for him to pay.
I think I was, but he doesn't. My brother-in-law played hockey all through high school, and a bunch of his friends now play in like the NHL, and we're just sitting there all out of shape. Like,
yeah,
should have been us.
Hey, it's way easier to be out of shape and watch hockey than it is to stay in shape and play hockey.
It's true. I have more of a podcast body anyway, so it worked out. But yeah, I've been a Chicago fan forever, and my dad, could never seem to stick with the team, and my uncles stuck with the Bears forever and told me the stories of Walter Payton and Mike Singletary, even back to like Sayers, all that stuff. And then when I like got into sports, like following football for myself and not just like my dad, I was like, Urlacher, killing it, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a quick stint where the Buccaneers changed their logo from like weird orange to like pirates, and then 6th and 7th grade, I was like, that's dope, and I loved them for like that season. That's it. But went back to the Bears because my little town was like, "Hey, dude."
Yeah, I know for me, I think I was, as a small child, I was a St. Louis Rams fan, and I know there's a picture of young Gibby out there with a turtleneck, and I think it was Kurt Warner. We were talking about this the other day. It would have been the running back around that time.
Eric
Marshall
Dickerson.
Falk.
Marshall Falk, with me wearing a
Eric
Marshall
Dickerson.
Falk jersey and a turtleneck in like
old 28. Yeah.
kindergarten, first grade probably. And then Peyton
Yep.
Manning won a Super Bowl, and it was just like he was so big. I jumped on the Colts bandwagon, I guess, and now I'm like, I can't leave. I love my Colts.
Yeah. Who did he win that Super Bowl again?
That was against the Bears.
Oh my God! Yeah, it was. Hey, I was riding high when I was 15. Like, the Bears are in the Super Bowl. I was at my like youth group church party. Like, they're gonna win. They're gonna win, and they lost. I don't know how they even got there. Rex Grossman is a bust, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, Brady has
Got
not
the
had
red.
that. Yeah. I guess Brady has had that with the NBA. I've always been loyal to the Cavs and the Indians, and my team that changed was football. He's always been a Browns and Indians fan. He abandoned us for the Clippers.
When Kawhi went, or why?
It was when Kawhi went. I can tell you it's because when Kawhi
Mostly
went.
that. Mo was mostly there, but I liked Blake Griffin, so.
Blake Griffin wasn't there though. Whenever
No,
you started cheering for him, he was at the Pistons being terrible, and now he's with the Nets not being terrible anymore.
I had a little small part of my heart down in there when Blake Griffin was there.
No matter what happens, he's still always gonna be on the all-time like Kendall Jenner team.
I don't know. I like Blake Griffin. I remember didn't he like jump over a Kia or something?
He jumped
like
over
that?
the hood of a Kia, and Sock says it's not that great. And I'm like, I don't think I could jump over the hood of a Kia and dunk a basketball. I don't think I could do either one of those by themselves, let alone together.
No, I'd get my foot stuck in like the wheel well or something and shatter my other ankle.
Yeah. All right. So my next question, Cincinnati or Xavier?
Oh, you see.
All right. Yeah,
If
that
I
was
had-
one.
Yeah,
Because I was like, well, being from the Cincinnati area, I had to ask, is it Cincy or is it Xavier that you cheer for? Luckily, you gave the right answer.
Yeah. It's UC, and I think
Oh hell yeah! Okay, I just virtually step out.
yeah.
I'd virtually step out, but I guess I came back in at the right time.
UC is awesome. Actually, at CCU, we play all our soccer games at Xavier, but Xavier is a little more uptight with everything than UC was. Nippert Stadium, you could go at 3 a.m. The lights are on. You could go play all frisbee. It's open all the time for anybody. It's just beautiful and awesome. UC is just super cool, man.
Yeah, call me a homer, but I think it's one of the stadiums everyone needs to visit. It's a beautiful stadium. The way it's sunk into campus, it's kind of like Michigan's Big House. The way it's down in the ground.
Yeah, that's how Akron's is actually. Theirs is sunken in too.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kinnick Stadium in Iowa is as well. But I think it's super cool. Just the stadium, and then they had when I was in college in Cincinnati, they had this big like dome that was like always under construction, but it was really just like indoor track, indoor baseball type stuff. And I was like, that's super cool. But yeah, when I was a kid, crosstown shootouts was something that we really paid attention to, even though I wasn't a huge basketball fan. And we always were UC people.
All right.
Fancy, baby.
All right. Yeah, I didn't know if that changed with being from Cincinnati, if it is kind of Xavier is big there and since he's kind of big everywhere around it, or how that works, or if maybe it is just kind of suburbs versus in town, or
Xavier is literally like, their basketball is good, their swimming is pretty good, and that's it. Like, no one else cares about Xavier.
Yeah.
I've only ever known them for basketball. I don't know why, like last week, whenever we started talking about March Madness, why I never thought about Xavier. And I think it may have just been because they were out this year. Them and Butler both, I totally forgot to talk about.
It's hilarious that Butler's out, but they hosted like.
They're hosting a quarter of the games.
Mhm. So in a way, the March Madness.
Yeah, they still have their logo going around, and the school probably got money for being where it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my next question, you are a youth minister, and that does mean you're around kids from all sorts of different schools, whether it be Dover, New Philly, Strasburg, Tusky Valley, Indian Valley. How do you stay neutral with all of it, especially during that 1 week of the year where it is nothing but a bitter hatred between Dover and Philly? How do you try and stay neutral?
I'm married in New Philadelphia, so
Yeah.
my wife is like New Philadelphia royalty, because her dad is the fire chief, and that apparently is a big deal. I mean, it is a big deal. He's really cool.
Yeah.
But people are like, "Oh, are you a parish?" Anytime we're out anywhere, and she's like, "I'm a Miller now." So I think I kind of have chosen. Obviously, I coach for New Philly, but those are just opportunities for me to reach other kids and like kind of be more than just in the basement of the church.
Yeah.
If you don't know, our youth ministry meets in the basement. That's not like a dungeon. I mean,
It's a very nice basement.
yeah, it's fine. But I kind of just root for the kids. Like I went to Giblet's Dover Philly game last year, rooting for him and Blake and Isaac, and actually didn't root for New Philly at all. They were bad. Although they're going to be my kids this year, so
They're your problem.
Yeah.
I have asked Isaac to go. Huh?
The 8th grade game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to the 6th grade game too. Blake Ring played. But yeah, I asked Isaac Blick, who's like their Megatron, to just take it easy. Like, can you tone it down? Because we got some small kids. No, if a kid invites me to go to something, I'll go to it. If I can live stream something, I'll live stream it. I'm more about supporting the kids than I am New Philly. At the end of the day, I love New Philly. I love Dover. Sorry, Giblet. I think they're the same town.
They are.
And
They are.
More or less.
I think it'd be very beneficial to the economy if they just combined and had like a Dover Philly North, Dover Philly South type situation. But it doesn't. I mean, doesn't matter what I think. Yeah. I mean, I went to when Emily Rigger was playing Strasburg softball. Go and watch Strasburg softball. I actually have a shirt that I wear on Dover Philly that says, "I just want both teams to have fun." Says,
I love that.
Yeah, that's the kind of energy you need to have. It's just kind of, I'm there for the kids. I'm not there because any sort of obligation to teams.
Yeah. Well, honestly, dude, about that week, the hardest thing on the game night is Ryan McVicker has been a starter for Philly or for Dover. I'm sorry, for almost his entire tenure at the school, and he's been a starter every year I've coached. And I'm just like, it's so hard for me to root against someone like he's like my little brother. Like I love Ryan McVicker. So I was like he came and tackled one of the kids right in front of me, and I got to like pick him up, and I was like,
yeah, you had to like be like, oh man, like cheap shot, like don't hurt our guys, and then in your head you're like, you're doing great, Ryan. Pat him on the back.
Yeah. And like out loud, I'm like, that was not even a tackle, you baby. You're doing great. But no, I am definitely the least passionate coach about Dover Philly Week. I think I do hate losing to Dover with my freshman team, with Dover Philly, varsity. I'm just like, this is just a cool atmosphere. This year was weird, but last year was awesome. And upcoming October 22nd, it's gonna be lit. I think we're at Dover.
Are you sure? Usually it falls my birthday week.
I know it's early this year.
All right, but yeah, like for people that don't know, Dover is one of like the top 3 or 5 rivalries in Ohio. I know Massillon McKinley's number 1. I think St. Vincent, St. Mary, Akron, Hoban is number 2, and I think we're number 3.
And then Edward and Nate.
Edward St. Ed's is number 3, and are we 4 or 5?
I don't know. I bought a book about it when I moved here because I wanted to know. I had been talked up like, oh, it's like Friday Night Lights, like the show or the movie, and
Yeah.
I went there and I was like, it is. But honestly, I grew up Cincinnati, Dayton area, D1, all everything.
Yeah.
So we had, huge kids, thousands of people. In the
Oh, yeah.
stands.
Yeah.
When
Ours
Luke-
aren't as big of kids, but the rivalry still stands. The fact that I
Yeah.
couldn't enter New Philadelphia for an entire week to get Taco Bell kind of speaks to
Right.
how big it was.
And that stuff's crazy. Like if you talk to like your dad's generation, that is like not being able to go to Taco Bell is nothing compared to like what they used to do.
They used to
Like-
snake through town and like business said to be worried about like windows breaking and stuff.
Yeah. Like Emma's mom, my wife's mom, she was like, yeah, I shimmied up a flagpole and stole a Dover flag out of that house by Reeves Mansion, and then it's still in their basement now. Like, that's crazy. No one would do that.
Mhm.
Someone
I
else,
mean,
one of my students' parents said they stole a bell, like a giant bell from Dover, and dug a hole and it's in the ground somewhere in New Philadelphia now. And I'm like, what?
yeah, I think the
My high school
police
didn't do that.
presence-
We just sent people to the NFL. So
Yeah. Yeah, you guys got to have the town. We got to have like tradition.
yeah.
All right, but we'll start up into the news finally. Now that you got to know a little bit about Matt. Starting off strong, Mike Tyson, 54 years old, is having a third fight against Evander Holyfield, who is 58 years old, May 29th. Possibly, they've now called off and reset the fight about 2 or 3 times now over contract disputes. It'll happen. The money's going to be there to watch these two guys fight for the first time since before I was born.
I mean, honestly, if you're thinking about it, 58's the new 38. So it's not that old. I'm sure, especially for an athlete like that. But
That they're both in their mid 50s.
no, but those fights he did earlier when he came back, those were still pretty interesting.
Yeah, against Roy Jones, that's my concern is that Roy Jones was such a subpar fight that it'll actually be kind of a legacy fight that, man, we never got to see the third fight against Holyfield. He bit off the guy's ear and it's a DQ. And now they finally get to have the who's the winner fight, and they're old. They are not old. They're just old men at this point. Tyson's 54 and went a solid streak without fighting. Holyfield, I don't think fought since 2000, I believe. It was his career ended around early 2000s. So
I
know
don't
that
think
they-
they're old though. I mean, dude, you train the way they train and eat the way they eat. They're in better shape than I'll ever be. They're in better shape than half of our high school athletes. Their joints are a little,
yeah, they are, as the kids say, they are built different. These guys are apex predators, top athletes, but it's still going to be kind of, they're in their 50s. They're not going to be in their prime. You're not going to see.
Yeah, in their prime, but this might be watching like Big 3 basketball,
Yeah, it'll still be worth watching. I'll definitely watch it. I don't think I'll pay for it, but I'll definitely watch it.
I'll watch it. We can watch it together. We'll figure out a way.
Yeah. We'll find some like not super legal way of watching it.
Yeah.
And staying into the fighting
If
stream.
it's on HBO Max, I can watch it because I have HBO Max.
It might be on that. I don't know. Next up, when fighting Oscar De La Hoya, exiting retirement. His last fight was in 2008 against Manny Pacquiao. Undecided opponent yet, but yeah, somebody that hasn't fought in 13 years, coming out of retirement. I'm excited to see it. I don't know who they'll have him fight, but I'm excited for it.
My question is, has he been training for 13 years for this moment? Has he been training since a couple years after Giblet was born just to fight somebody else? Like, or has he just been sitting there like, well, I ran out of money?
Yeah, the guy's going up against got to be like, oh, he's been retired for 13 years, but really, Oscar De La Hoya has been spending 13 years just dedicated to training Rocky style to just be like the ultimate, like, oh, he's gonna knock anyone out, whoever he goes up against.
Real punchman.
Yeah, the real one punch man. Yeah.
I hope he picks someone like Jake Paul. I hope he just like.
Yeah, Jake Paul did his first promo for against Ben Askren. Apparently got a little chippy. I'd love to see nothing more than for Ben Askren to like one hit knock him out. I really don't like him.
the money is right now. If you can fight Jake Paul, you're in the money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Really, I think I should just train for like a year or two, and I'll just call him out. And in that time, Power 10 will have grown to be big, and I can challenge him and knock him out, and he won't know what was coming because I've been training in secret.
Yeah,
Is it
go
like golf?
fight Paul
Like,
and put a podcast on the map.
Yeah.
yeah. Is it like golf though? Like even if you lose and get knocked out, do you still get paid? Like even if you're last on the
Yeah.
PGA Tour, you
Yeah.
still get paid.
Even the losers
You don't need to
get paid.
train. Just go out there and get punched in the face a couple times.
Yeah, I could be a pro UFC fighter. I couldn't win. I could be one and get knocked out real well, but
Yeah.
Those guys are nuts. I'd walk out, get hit once, and be like,
I would fake being knocked out. I'd be like, I'm done. Please don't. Just cower.
"Just give me my $11. Let me go home."
All right, and the last bit of fighting news: Stipe fights Francis Ngannou tonight. I'm excited to see it. I want to root for Stipe. He is the hometown guy. He's a firefighter. I don't know how you pick against a firefighter for one. He professionally fights fires. I don't know why you'd think a man could beat him. He's already beaten fire. He's beaten the elements.
Dude, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, it's what like
I'm a
so you're
firefighter
saying-
family now.
Yeah, you have to side with firefighters now. Yeah. But yeah, you
I hate
can't bet
fire.
against a guy that's a firefighter. Like what? Oh yeah, he'll lose to a person. He's beating fire.
Yeah.
That's a quarter of like Avatar right there. That's a quarter of the show is
Fire.
beating up fire. All right, but that's all we have for I guess miscellaneous news, fighting news. We'll move on into NFL free agency. We know Matt's a big Bears fan. Right now we got some news, and then we'll kind of get into our thoughts on it. 49ers trade with the Dolphins for number 3 and some other picks. Is this the end of the Jimmy G era in San Francisco with taking a number 3 pick?
Yeah, you're not moving up to number 3 to take a tackle.
All right, yeah, I'm like, I don't see anybody moving up from 12 to 3 for Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase or a receiver, even a linebacker, because Micah Parsons is talented. But yeah, you got to be going for a QB at 3.
But what a situation to land in, whether it's going to be Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, whoever it is. I mean, this is a team that was 1 year away from the Super Bowl. And you still have Shanahan, who's one of the better offensive-minded coaches in the league. I think whoever lands in San Francisco is getting the best situation to land in as a quarterback.
Yeah. And I think with a team that's just destroyed by injuries last year, you're talking in a situation where everyone will be back and healthy. This team made it to a Super Bowl. Yeah, they lost, but they even held a lead in the Super Bowl.
1 year they won in spite of Jimmy G. If they had a top 15 quarterback even, they would have had a chance to win.
Yeah. All of a sudden the Mahomes era maybe doesn't happen. It's still going to happen, but is it as big as what it is? Next bit of news.
Kept them in the game for the longest. And Mahomes did not have a great game either. I believe 3 interceptions to 3 touchdowns.
Oh, Mahomes in a Super Bowl is very subpar. It is a different player. But yeah, then so the Niners get the number 3, Dolphins end up with that number 12. The Dolphins then trade that number 12 to the Eagles and now have the Eagles number 6. What's got to be going on for one in Philadelphia, and we'll do Philadelphia first and then Miami second. Philadelphia definitely going kind of bold here to trade down when initially they wanted that 3 from Miami to get Wilson, and now it's kind of dropped down to 12.
They must think either something's changed about Wilson and they are ready for Mac Jones, or they're content to stay with Hurts.
I would be totally fine with Hurts. Alex Smith is still in the market that you could go pick him up. There's still and I mean Brissett's your backup in Miami right now. That's something that I think really went underneath the radar is Brissett signed with Miami. You have a very quality backup. He's backed up Tom Brady. He's backed up Andrew Luck. This is not some scrub that like is just kind of, we forgot about him. He's a quality backup that I think any team should be lucky to have. And that's not just me as a Colts fan being biased. He was very talented in both Indianapolis and New England.
They have so many, I think, offensive opportunities that it's hard to see where they're going to go with this because I do think Jalen's a good option. I don't. The whole Tua thing, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I like it.
No, I think that they chase. I think that's what they're trying to move up for. I still believe they're on with Tua.
Yeah, you had essentially
You gotta
half
give
a
him
season.
weapons.
Yeah. How much you played, I would say half a season with Tua, and people are like, move on now. And I'm like, it's too soon to do that. You really never got to see full potential Tua, especially with him coming off of a hip injury coming into the NFL. It's kind of like, give him some time to develop. I think he could be a talent, but yeah, it's kind of odd to see Philly going, we'll trade you 12 for 3, and now it's we'll trade you 12 for 6. Or I guess we'll trade 6 for 3, and now it's we'll trade 6 for 12. Is Philly just kind of a dumpster fire that doesn't know what they're doing with trading down now instead of trading up?
I definitely think so.
And Miami's now wheeling and dealing, taking 2 first rounders from the 49ers and then a pick swap, and I think a third rounder from this year. And then
just accumulating picks. That's, you think about it, they're in a good position. They have the picks, and they were well in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, they were up in it up until the end
with talent.
But yeah, that's kind of the big news of free agency this week, is these kind of swaps that Miami's been making. So we'll kind of go into some of free agency thoughts. Our favorite signing so far. I'll start us off. Fitzmagic going to Washington. I love it. I think that he's talented. This is going to be the year he gets a Pro Bowl, and that can be what gets him to the Hall of Fame, because apparently a requirement for making it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame is you have to have made it to 1 Pro Bowl. Fitzmagic has yet to do that in his career, and I'd love to see nothing more than his last year in the league with Washington be the year he makes it to a Pro Bowl, becomes Hall of Fame eligible, and can make it in 5 years. So, John, I want to hear your thoughts next.
Based on accumulation of stats, if you just look at them, they are Hall of Fame stats. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, maybe Hall of very good, but that's just a testament to how long he's stuck around.
Yeah. So your favorite signing thus far?
Really nothing much has changed since last week. A lot of the big name free agents are gone.
Well, I mean, so yeah, your free agency so far, because I don't think anyone's gotten to hear your thoughts on Power 10. I know we did get to talk about it a little bit with Analyze This, but for people that didn't tune into that, if they want to hear your favorite thus far.
Oh, my favorite for all of free agency, not just week 2.
Yeah, just the overall.
It's a phenomenal deal, very team friendly, and that's a defense that is lacking. That was probably your weakest point of last season, just not being able to get other teams off the field, especially in games like against Baltimore, where you just could not stop J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards. And you were going touchdown for touchdown with them, Bainfield versus Jackson, but you just could not get the Baltimore offense off the field. So with a stronger secondary, look for them to be really good. Yeah. And you got Troy Brown too.
I mean, what a name, John Johnson III, though. It made my favorite name out of free agency. That means there also exists 2 other John Johnsons just in that family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's the Browns, but I think universally that's praised as a good signing. And I'm just ecstatic to be in a position as a Browns fan where other teams and other commentators are saying, wow, the Browns are doing a good job.
Yeah. It's not often you hear that, but
not.
All right. So Brady, I guess you're up next.
I'm going with John Johnson. I mean, we needed a defense, picked up some defense.
Yeah, took especially in safety, where I think that's where Cleveland really kind of struggled last year with injuries and talent. This is me calling out Andrew Sandejo. You're kind of besmirching the name of Andrews everywhere. Please just kind of step up the game just a little bit. You and Andy Dalton are really making Andrews look bad.
Andy Dalton's good though, so I want to hear this.
Yeah. All right, Matt. So your favorite signing thus far?
Weirdly, it's not Andy Dalton, but it is my favorite signing. I love the Bears, and I can't stop loving the Bears. So my favorite signing is Damian Williams. I think, he took 2020 off for COVID to take care of his family and stuff like that. And just scared of his mom's safety. But dude, he killed it with the Chiefs in 2019. And they picked him up, and they'll have a backfield now that's a little better and bigger than Taylor Montgomery. Has really cut through the line. He's more of a shifter than a bowl over kind of guy. So I'm pretty pumped about it. And
All right.
that is my one good news from the Bears.
All right, so that's everyone's favorite signings. We'll move on to our least favorite signings. Carson Wentz to the Colts is mine. I've been very vocal. I hate it. I don't like it. Carson Wentz is not that great, and everyone's kind of always with Frank Reich. It'll be fine. I don't trust him. I want Alex Smith to be signed as a backup just because I know Wentz will get hurt. And again, I want to see Alex Smith succeed. I want to see him take over the reins like come week 15 or 16 when Wentz is inevitably hurt. And Alex Smith can just kind of take over, get him to the playoffs, and maybe get a playoff win. But I don't like Carson Wentz to the Colts. I really don't. It really makes me upset.
So your backup plan for a man with glass bones is
Another man with glass bones. Exactly. Between the two of them, they collectively have not bird bones. If you combine, if you were to fuse their bones together, they would have like solid normal people bones. So John, your least favorite signing thus
far? My favorite is Carl Lawson to the Jets. I love the signing for the Jets. I hate it for the Bengals. I can't. That was just a poor decision to let him walk. I know you bring in Trey Hendrickson, but as a replacement for Carl Lawson, I don't like it. Would have been a very scary front seven if you bring both of them together, rushing the edges. But
yeah, the same contract for a slightly worse player.
I mean, it's almost a wash. I think Carl Lawson is better, but I'm going to call it a wash just to be fair.
All right, Brady, your least favorite signing?
I changed my mind on my favorite. It's Carson Wentz to the Colts.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, Colts, they suck now. Sorry, Andrew. The only good player is whatever his name is. T.Y.'s washed. Also, Sammy Watkins to the Ravens is my favorite because his name's Sammy Washed Watkins. So, yeah.
All right, so your least favorite signing?
Don't have one. I liked them all.
All right.
You liked all of them.
All right, Matt.
Pretty content with all of them.
I'm gonna have to go with the Red Rifle, man.
The Red Rocket.
Red Rifle.
We were talking about this pre-show. I thought his nickname was the Red Rocket for like a solid amount of time.
Here's the thing about that. I can't really blame the Bears because they're the Bears and you expect it, but also they offered 3 first-round picks, a 3rd round, and 2 of their starters for him, and Seattle still was like, "We will not give you Russell." And they're like, "We're giving you our entire everybody." You know, and that sucks. Yes, free agency. I get it. It's a bear. No, but
here's the thing, Andy. Improvement over Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
No, Mitch Trubisky was the MVP, so.
Well.
Right, it was a Nickelodeon MVP.
Yeah, he was Nickelodeon. He got slimed some.
This is Mitchell Trubisky is the first MVP to switch teams in the following offseason.
Yeah, record setter.
I think I'm disappointed with that, but I'm also upset they cut Kyle Fuller, and Kyle Fuller was a lockdown corner for years for the Bears, and they cut him. And I was just like, why would you do that? He's making so much, and they cut him to save like $6 million or something to bring in Andy Dalton. I was like, dude, Andy Dalton's gonna throw to Kyle Fuller when we play whoever goes to. Like, but whatever.
All right. All right, so next up are surprise signings. Maybe you didn't see it coming. Maybe it was kind of just like, oh, yeah, I didn't see that one really coming. Or kind of maybe a sleeper, I guess, anything. Mine, I have 2. I have Juju staying with Pittsburgh, even though better offers were sent out from Kansas City and Baltimore. And that's kind of my issue with it is Juju went, I'm going to stay with Pittsburgh, who is in desperate need to fill a lot of positions and not a lot of time. With cap issues taking less money as well, when Kansas City and Baltimore are both kind of knocking on your door. Hey, we're going to offer you more money. We're a playoff ready team, and you're going to turn it down. I don't know if Pittsburgh has something brewing, and obviously any Pittsburgh fans probably gonna be in our comments saying that they're still a great team, but they're not. They're really kind of, you need a quarterback, you need a run game. You lost a lot of your line. I don't see it. Maybe
You've
Juju
lost
knows,
both
yeah,
starting players.
yeah, you've lost a lot of talent. That it just surprised me that somebody like him didn't. I mean, you got better offers and you chose to stay. And Claypool's getting in trouble now, so it's kind of like, was it the smart move? And my other surprise signing, Joe Flacco choosing to avoid retirement and becoming the backup QB in Philadelphia.
Are we sure backup?
That's a very good point, but I think it's going to be kind of
Comfortable trading down back to 12.
maybe, yeah. Maybe this is similar to the whole Carson Wentz, Nick Foles situation, where it's kind of like you're gonna see Hurts get you through most of the season, then come playoffs, you can put in somebody that historically has done very well in the playoffs with Joe Flacco, and it's gonna kind of be, this is how you make another Super Bowl run. Maybe is what they're thinking. You take this young guy to get you through the season, and then have a veteran that has great playoff experience to kind of finish the job. Maybe that's what they're thinking.
Maybe.
So John, so your surprise signing.
My surprise signing, I'm going to say Trubisky to the Bills to back up Josh Allen. I was thinking that there still may be a market for Trubisky out there, either in like Washington or maybe to catch on in Philadelphia.
Yeah, or again, it's you have Josh Allen, who was trained by Carson Palmer. It was Carson Palmer, who it has shown he got a lot better between seasons whenever he trained with them. So maybe it's kind of, we're going to build up Trubisky, and if we need him, we have him, and that's going to be very helpful. Or maybe build him up and then use him as trade fodder.
Backup, because you're not taking that starting spot from Josh Allen, unless injury. But Josh Allen is shown to be very durable. He hasn't missed extended time yet. So it's just surprising that there wasn't a market for him as a starter. And I think more surprising that he went somewhere where he doesn't have a future maybe as a starter.
Yeah, it's a very low chance as a starting position.
All
right, so Brady, you're up. Any surprises?
Carson Wentz to the Colts.
You are feet away. I can run over right now. Shut
up. Dude.
Well, tell me you weren't surprised.
I was surprised.
You were surprised.
I didn't like it though. I whenever you hear surprise, usually it's like a birthday party or like a new car or like, oh yeah, like I found $20 in this old coat. Not like, oh yeah, surprise, you just got kicked in the crotch.
I mean, that's
awesome. I got another one.
You're a Bears fan. That's what surprises are.
I got Andy Dalton going to the Bears.
Really just calling everyone out here. It's tough talk
it was surprising. They went from drafting probably like the 4th best quarterback or 3rd best quarterback in the league, trying to get him over there to the 30th best. Like, that was very surprising for me, and I hate it.
All right, so Matt, your surprise one.
Actually, not Andy Dalton. Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake to Las Vegas. I think that's weird. He was part of like a RB1, RB2, 2-punch kind of double threat down in Arizona, and then all of a sudden he just goes to definitely play RB2 in the rate, like in Las Vegas. And John Gruden, I have a thing right here that just blew me away when I was reading this. John Gruden goes, "Yeah, we'll just we'll use him in our passing game." I'm like,
I mean, that isn't a horrible. I mean, that's
it's not a bad idea. But I am surprised that Kenyon Drake was like, yeah, I'll be RB2
for my fantasy team last year.
Yeah, well, it'll mess up his fantasy too because he's going to only be in them 3rd and short, 3rd and long. Like, his production was not great last year, but still, his overall demeanor and who he is as a player, I feel like him going from a 1-2 punch kind of thing to like I'll go in if you need me on that.
Because Josh Jacobs every down back where Gus Edwards isn't. You have a better opportunity to split time in Arizona than you do.
Exactly. That's what I'm like.
But I mean, we've seen the whole rushing running back and a passing running back work in Cleveland and in Indy.
Yep.
With Cleveland doing it definitely the most successfully with Chubb and Hunt. where it's kind of, if Hunt's in the backfield, it's going to be a pass. I mean, obviously he can still run the ball and he's very talented at that, but he has hands that Chubb, I don't think, has as much talent with. And Indy did the same thing with Jonathan Taylor and Naheem Hines, where Taylor was going to be the guy that was going to run the ball and not really catch it, where Hines was kind of more, we're going to pass it out of the backfield and you're occasionally going to catch or going to get the handoff. And it is something interesting that, Kenyon Drake, who was really good in Arizona and even good in Miami. Was he with Miami, or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, he was in Miami.
He was in, and he was talented in both places. To now, kind of, like Matt said, I'm cool just being whatever, and it's really weird.
And he is getting $11 million.
That definitely could be why
$11 million, and he's going to get 7 or 8 touches a game.
Yeah, it's $11 million, and you're in Vegas. You can double that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You take your paycheck on Monday, go to the casino later that day, and double it.
Yeah.
Has that happened yet? Has somebody been on like a Vegas team and blown an entire paycheck in a week? Have we heard anything official on that yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, with them having a hockey team, a football team, I believe that they might be the next team to get an NBA team. I think we'll get 2 just to keep numbers even. I think we'll see Seattle and Vegas get basketball teams. I think that
you would have to have someone from the West to the East, because then you have them.
Move Memphis. That's an easy call. Yeah, Memphis is the most East-West team. So but it'll still be interesting to see in the next 5 years, as teams are in Vegas long term, what happens when players are there, and what happens when paycheck day comes. And I bet we definitely hear a story of somebody that got signed starting in Vegas that then retires, and they're gonna be like, every week I immediately went to Caesars and blew my paycheck. We're definitely gonna hear it. There's no way we don't.
It's gonna be young players or arrogant veteran players.
Yeah, it's gonna be some guy that was like a journeyman that ended in Vegas. Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman is a gambler. I bet he definitely has doubled his paychecks while in Vegas. I mean, all right. So next up, who do you think is winning free agency thus far, and who is losing it? We'll kind of start off, go around, give our winners, and then give our losers. Winning, it's still New England. They made all the right signings. They seem to have unlimited money, and with restructuring and all they've done, New England is definitely back to being a playoff threat all of a sudden. It went from, Tom Brady's gone, they're done, we're safe. We no longer have to hear New England in the playoffs in the same sentence, unless the words not going to make it is in between. But now, they've made a ton of great signings, and I'm kind of scared that the Belichick era and Boston fans will be pampered again.
Yeah, they will. I think New England has made all the right signings, and I expect Cam to be fully back next year. Another year under a Belichick system. Anyone who thinks he's washed or says he's not 2015 Cam, but anyone who says Cam is done hasn't been watching. But I actually think the winners of free agency are the Chargers. They've done everything that the Bengals have failed to do. The Bengals specifically said, we want to protect our future franchise quarterback, Joe Burrow. And they have not signed one offensive lineman. They re-signed Quinton Spain. And they have made no improvements unless they're planning on something in the draft to protect Joe Burrow. Now, San Diego, they have made a whole bunch of great signings to protect Justin Herbert, who's played very well. And
is poor coaching and a poor line, too. Brady, who's your who's winning free agency right now?
Well, in my opinion, it's kind of the Browns, because they said they did what they needed to do, get defense. Also New England, because they got about everything they wanted.
Yeah, Cleveland's definitely one that I figured would have been said by John.
I mean, you got back Rashard Higgins, you re-signed him, and you got 2 defensive players. And looking at Jadeveon Clowney,
possibly getting Clowney as well.
Oh yeah, if you get Clowney, then I think you've won free agency, period. But the Browns haven't made a lot of signings, and I don't generally include re-signing your own players as a signing.
Yeah.
Just avoiding a loss.
Yeah, because
But
the Colts keeping T.Y. Hilton wasn't a great free agents pickup. You just kept a guy around that does pretty quality work.
But the Browns didn't need a lot. They needed a secondary, and they needed maybe another linebacker or lineman. And
and you can
they
fill that with a draft that's in 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Secondary, and they're looking to bring in Clowney.
Yep. All right,
So,
John, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say there's just not a lot there to say you've won free agency with 1 or 2 signings.
Yeah. All right, so Matt, who's winning free agency?
I'm not. I don't think it's a team. I think it's a player. I think Russell Wilson is winning free agency. I think, dude, he has been. He's got everything thrown at him, and right now he has Seattle under his thumb. Basically, they got to make him happy, or he's going to leave.
Yeah,
he's winning free agency, or
holds all the leverage, I believe.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, you guys talked about 49ers. I think maybe them too. I mean, what are they talking about? Hold on, I have it up here on my list. They want to get Alex Mack for $5.5 million. He's 35 years old. That's a bargain because he's still a beast.
Yeah.
And even if you do lose Jimmy G to move up for, to get a quarterback or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they're winning. Obviously, my first pick is Russell Wilson or Odell Beckham's unborn baby, but that might be. I think Russell Wilson or San Francisco because Russell Wilson has the league and all of Seattle's front office, just
you hold the chips, you get to decide. And I think I think this is a contract year as well. So it's kind of like if he wants to dip, he can dip next year. Yep. And it's kind of Seattle's job. I guess it's the same as Deshaun where trade him away. They don't want to be there and you can get something out of him versus free agency where it's kind of like, well, now you're left with nothing. You're kind of just left empty-handed.
Mm-hmm.
So who is losing NFL free agency thus far? I'm going with Cincinnati. John has been saying it perfectly. They've done nothing to address what they said they're going to address. You went, we're going to protect Joe Burrow, and what you've done thus far is nothing towards that. It's essentially help Joe Burrow get the ball in better field position, which I guess is good.
Mm-hmm.
But still, yes, Cincy is my loser right now in free agency.
See, they've made a lot of great signings that I like. The only problem is they haven't made the signings they need to, and they've let people walk that they needed to keep. And I mean, free agency is not over, and there's still time to correct this, and there's still time in the draft. But
yeah, there's still a draft in another 3 months until the NFL starts, or no, 4 or 5. I think 4 or 5 months, I guess, until OTAs and all that begin. So Cincy still has time. So,
I mean, I love the players that they brought in. I think they're doing great, and they fill needs, but they don't fill the biggest need.
Yeah, the need.
But when you're Cincinnati, you have a lot of needs, so it takes time.
All right. So you're going to Cincy as well as who's losing free agency?
Yes.
All right, Brady.
Actually, no. I'm going Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh lost. You know what?
Yeah.
They lost. Re-signed Ben Roethlisberger. I don't care if you're restructuring his contract. He's not your quarterback that's going to lead you to playoffs anymore.
Yeah, you lost Bud Dupree. You lost Villanueva. You lost Pouncey.
It was their defense that took them to 11-0. Honestly, that offense did not do them any favors. As soon as the league figured that out and the defense couldn't keep up, it was over for them. But you still don't have a run game. You managed to re-sign Juju Smith.
To not a lot of money, which is the one thing I think you did right. Was you re-signed.
Still hasn't proved anything where he says he's a number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, good for re-signing him, but you're still lacking in your receiver core with Chase Claypool's future up in the air.
Yeah. And again, re-signing a guy that's on his last legs. I know it was a very team-friendly deal, but not going, well, who's our backup, and taking a guy that really had some discipline issues off the field as your backup, and the other guy having issues on the field with discipline.
I'm surprised the Steelers didn't make a move for Trubisky. That's a situation.
Yeah, that's where I was. Yeah. I thought Philadelphia or Pittsburgh would be after.
They're all quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they try and do to mend it in the rest of the offseason. But yeah, that's a very good point. They might be losing it.
Yeah, you're losing Terry like Mike Hinton, and you're losing Bud Dupree, and you failed to really bring in anyone to replace him.
Yeah. Brady?
Mine's Houston because they still have Deshaun Watson and deny to get.
Yeah, you are on a limited time frame to deal him off to try and get draft picks.
Plus, have they even picked up anyone?
Nothing major. They actually lost Will Fuller to the Dolphins.
Yeah, so
you lost wide receiver 1 to the Dolphins. JJ Watt's gone. Your starting QB hates you.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, Houston. Yeah, they might also be losing pretty hard.
They don't lose is because they didn't have much to lose.
Yeah,
Hawkins
they're playing with house money, really.
Back.
Your amount. Yeah, it's the margin you had to lose wasn't as great as everyone else.
Or
season ending, everyone knew you were already losers.
Yeah.
All right, so Matt, who's losing free agents?
Well, that is why my pick is not Houston as an organization, but the Houston fans. I think they got the freaking, if they keep Deshaun Watson, then he's gonna be pissed the whole year and play terribly and hates his coach. If they lose him, they have the ghost of Andre Roberts and playing in there. The ghost of Mark Ingram. He's 32 now, I think, and it's a dumpster fire. It's so bad in Houston. My friend Ricky is a huge Houston fan. And he's watching his tweets the last 6 months. It's just been like
suicide watch.
Oh yeah. Like I'm like, are you okay? You know.
Yeah, you gotta check on him. Well, even worse, as a Houston fan, Houston Dynamo was last in MLS. The Rockets just went on a 20-game losing streak and are terrible.
Flooding.
The Astros are still cheaters, and everyone's still saying they don't deserve a World Series and are kind of in the middle ground of everyone hates you, even if you are above average. The Texans are a hot dumpster fire. So yeah, Houston fans, we're here for you.
About the Rockets.
The the Texans are literally a catch-all for old people that want to still play, and it's like the poor fans.
Frank Gore's going to them next, is my guess.
Dude, for real.
Announce that signing, please.
Yeah, I think I have another loser for free agency. It's gonna sound weird, but the Saints, who are just they've cut so many of their talented players just to make money. Yeah, you got to keep around Jameis Winston for a very team-friendly deal. You still have Taysom Hill. Marshawn Lattimore just got arrested on a felony charge. I don't remember what it was. Give me one sec. Charged with receiving stolen property, a 4th-degree felony. So he could be out part of the season because he has felony charges. But yeah, the amount of cuts they did to try and keep their money safe is kind of you lost one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And his replacements aren't 100% locked down yet. I do like the potential of Winston and Hill, but it's still kind of you're still downgrading. You had Drew Brees, it's still always going to be a downgrade. It's the same as even though you have Cam, who is great, it's still a downgrade from Tom Brady because it was Tom Brady.
I actually think Taysom Hill is one of those people that is also winning free agency.
He's winning because again, he's the kingdom for a wide receiver, running back, punter, kicker, tight end, cornerback that also plays QB.
Yep.
So that's the NFL news for you right now. We'll move on to the NBA. Trade deadline was Thursday. Aaron Gordon finally has a chance to possibly win a NBA Finals with going to the Nuggets. Magic also says we're going to get rid of any star players we have. Vucevic to the Bulls. Orlando's kind of in full rebuild mode right now.
Gary Clark also to the Nuggets.
Yep. Victor Oladipo to the Miami Heat, thus also adding into the Houston dumpster fire. They took a guy that was great with the Pacers, did nothing with him, put him on a 20-game losing streak, sent him to Miami where he wanted to go for next to nothing.
Yeah, you got 20 games of Victor Oladipo for Harden. What are they doing in Houston? That front office is
Dude, all of Houston is just underwater. Well,
Yeah.
not maybe.
Oh, don't say that.
was
Come
so
on,
bad.
Matt.
They
Come
are
on.
not good
Come on.
at sporting.
Also, we got to see Andre Drummond and LaMarcus Aldridge buy out of their contracts at the trade deadline. I'm sad to see it because I liked Andre Drummond with the Cavs. LaMarcus Aldridge was
I
pretty
did.
good with the Spurs. But it's always interesting whenever I see players get bought out of contracts. I never understand why, especially at trade deadline, because you're not going to re-sign anyone that adds into your cap.
Mhm.
So why just spend the money now and just open up a spot in your roster, especially with the guys like that are talented.
Yeah, it's not like Andre Drummond was actively a locker room cancer.
Yeah. A lot of Cleveland was very positive. And,
Yeah.
And that's something that
I liked him a lot. The fans liked him.
Yeah.
And he liked, or to my knowledge.
Yeah. To our knowledge, a lot of the Cleveland locker room was healthy and it didn't seem to have any issues.
Hmm.
Next bit of big NBA trade news, JJ Radick to the Mavs, along with a couple other players, which led to the potential of having something we haven't seen in the NBA for a long time, an all-white five-man lineup in the NBA. You could have Porzingis, Bogdanovich, Doncic, Redick, and I don't remember who number 5 was, but you could have an all-white 5 lineup in the NBA that I don't think we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
Probably since like they had peach baskets.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, I saw it on, I believe, TikTok. Somebody said something. I was like,
Oh.
that's really weird. I'm kind of in for it. It's just so weird to see
since
it.
Chuck Taylor's were the basketball shoes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
A while.
You really had to worry about like having your privates come out of the bottom of your shorts because they were that short. It was that long ago. But the biggest bit of the NBA trade deadline news was Rondo to the Clippers for Lou Williams. Lemon Pepper Lou is back in Atlanta. Strippers rejoice in the ATL.
Wing chefs rejoice.
Yeah, it was the chicken wings, Matt. He definitely just went for the chicken wings. I saw pictures. I don't blame him. They looked like really good chicken wings, but they also have wings. You could
saw pictures of the wings.
Carry out. Come on.
Yeah.
You really had to break the bubble for chicken wings?
Never been into one of those establishments.
I put in DoorDash or
yeah.
You should have.
Uber Eats definitely could have gotten it for you.
That's true.
Yeah, call a friend to like leave it at the door, even if they don't DoorDash. Say, hey, would you pick this up for me?
Yeah, that's definitely something, especially because you left the bubble for Family Matters, and by doing that, you kind of ruined your team for 2 weeks. Brady, as a Clippers fan, how does this make you feel losing Lou Williams to get Rajon Rondo, who really hasn't been good since the Celtics? I know he was with the Lakers and he was decent, but
I don't know. Maybe LeBron put some sense into his mind whenever he was there. Maybe told him to stop sucking and be better or something. I don't know. But I don't know. I hope he does something good for the team because we sure need it with Paul George not doing anything productive.
Yeah, Playoff Pete has not done a single thing for you guys. And
Kawhi Leonard and what's his name? The tall guy.
Could be anyone. It's the NBA, Brady.
NBA.
I'm the tallest person in this call at 6 foot tall. The tall guy can be anyone.
The Zubats, the Vince Zubats.
Okay. Yep. All right. And I guess the last bit of NBA news before we move on is LeBron is like going into like the hyperbolic time chamber from Dragon Ball Z to recover from his high ankle sprain. So the meme everyone made of him in like the pod with the mask on of him and AD kind of like just recovering in pods is actually true. LeBron spent money to be in these like hyperbolic chambers to help his blood flow and all this and help his recovery shorten up.
It makes sense. I mean, if you have that money, him and Russell Wilson both have said they spend over like $1 million just on
their health. Yeah.
On body bouncing back from workouts. Like rehab stuff. I'm like
rehab and just your diet.
Yeah. Which I mean, you at that point you're an investment. Your whole life is an investment.
Yeah, your body is an investment.
Especially for your kids. So,
I mean, LeBron, what he's doing. he's a master at taking care of his body. He's so disciplined, and good on the Lakers for, even with the Anthony Davis injury, they are not rushing them back. They are taking more than their fair time.
This is their, a fair way for load management.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to see like LeBron's in this like little pod training, and everyone made memes of him and AD in these training pods, just kind of like waiting, like almost like Dragon Ball Z style, kind of just like chilling in pods to recover. And then you find out, oh, LeBron's actually doing that. That isn't just a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does those like floaty salt baths too, or float around.
Deprivation chambers.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to do one of those. That's on my list. Like, I know I see them like at like some places do them in malls, but like I want to find a place that specifically does it because I know it's a little bit cleaner. It just seems interesting to like just be able to like go in and just kind of float and not hear anything or see anything, kind of just like be alone with your thoughts.
But in a mall, you got to be floating in there eating a Sbarro or something like that.
Yeah, somebody definitely left like the crust from a Sbarro pizza in there.
Is that a croissant?
All right, so moving on, we'll baseball starting up next Thursday. We'll kind of get some of our NBA stuff out of or MLB. Oh my, why is it NBA? So we'll kind of start in with the MLB stuff. Starting off, who is your small market star this season? Mine is, I'm gonna stick with, I guess, is San Diego a small market or is it a medium market or large market?
They're top tier now.
I don't know. Yeah, where does San Diego classify in terms of market? Because I'm like, it's in California, so it has to be large market. And I'm like,
but it's not Oakland, it's not LA, it's not San Francisco.
Yeah, I guess it's a small market relative to California, but it's still probably bigger than a lot of the other teams. So if I just say they're small market, it's going to be the Padres. If not, it's going to be the Rays. Rays are coming off of a great run last year. Padres definitely fixed a lot of issues that they had last year, and they're looking a lot better. So one of those two, I know I'm breaking the John Sacco clause by not giving a definitive answer, but mine is dependent on what you define as a small market.
I'll define San Diego as a small market.
Okay,
right
then
now,
San Diego, I'll say is my number one then.
Baseball.
What was that?
I said I think they have the best starting lineup in baseball, easily.
So you're going with San Diego as well?
Yep.
Brady?
San Diego. I mean, Tatis, Chado. That's all I can name because I don't know anyone else. But
it reminds me a lot of the 2016 Indians, where you had that phenomenal starting lineup and you had very good hitters. And you had Brantley, you had Ramirez, you had Lindor.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a team I think will make a decent run. I hope they win. I always root for the small market, especially in baseball, because it's so hard for a small market to succeed in baseball. But Matt, who do you have as your small market star this season?
Well, I was gonna say the Braves, but I guess they're not small market. Atlanta's huge. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, Atlanta falls into large market now.
They are massive.
It's grown.
And I just looked it up because I was like, I'm gonna sound like an idiot. They're actually like the 11th biggest market in Major League Baseball. So, and San Diego's 26th. So
okay, so we're good. We're good saying San Diego's small market.
Small market, it's got to be San Diego. I mean, that big contract for Tatis and freaking Manny Machado out there punishing baseballs. It's fun to watch. Plus, Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 is a huge San Diego fan. So
yeah. Well, Blink-182 is from San Diego, aren't they? I have to cheer for San Diego in some capacity.
Yeah.
All right.
I got to cheer for San Diego.
All right. Next up, will Ohio collectively finish above 500? Or we'll just kind of say Cleveland and Red. If you think the Reds will and the Indians won't, or you think both will fall under 500. For me, I think the Reds have potential to be a 500 team. Cleveland, not as much, because whenever I look at the starting lineup, I feel like the people at the beginning of Major League kind of asking who the hell are these guys, because I don't know a whole lot. Like I know McKenzie, who has appeared on 99 miles per hour with Percy, friend of the show, I guess. We'll say we indirectly know him. And we still have Bieber. We still have Ramirez. Other than that, I'm like, I don't know who the hell these guys are anymore. And it's concerning for me. I think the Reds might finish above 500. The Indians will not.
I can see the Reds winning maybe 85-ish games. I see the Indians around
Lower
there.
than that.
Yeah. I think they're both about 80 to 90 wins.
Yeah, I love the Indians. I love them to death. I remember going to games back in the what was his name? Every woman had a pink jersey for him, and I cannot remember his name right now.
Grady Sizemore?
Thank you. I remember being there in the Grady Sizemore era, and then kind of watching the World Series. There's history with me in the World Series that I think we'll bring up on a different episode, maybe closer to the World Series, with me and my health issues around the World Series in Cleveland. But Brady, I want to hear your thoughts. Will Ohio finish above 500?
Indians suck because they don't have anyone good anymore except Ramirez.
Where are you gonna put him? What about Shane Bieber? He's still there.
Well, yeah.
We have another Cy Young winner.
Oh, yeah. So we have 2 players and the other 12 suck. Okay, yeah. But the Reds, I don't know about them. I have no clue who's on their team or if they even have a team anymore, honestly.
I'll fill you in. I think the Reds definitely finish over 500. I don't know about the Indians. Collectively, it might not be over 500 for Ohio, but the Reds definitely will. I think Luis Castillo is one of the best pitchers. We have Sonny Gray, another great pitcher. I think Luis Castillo is going to be in the running for the NL Cy Young. And I know that's stupid, but because Trevor Bauer is still in the NL. But
losing Bauer, I can't believe. I mean, they didn't
want bad.
But he's stated he doesn't like doing multi-year contracts, and that's why people were like, LA doesn't make sense. He's like, I'll play a year somewhere, and if I want to move on, I can move on. And that's such a weird thing to hear from professional athletes, but it makes so much sense, really, where it's kind of like,
money.
Yeah, you can also make so much less, but Bauer kind of, I guess, recognizes his own talent and goes, I can play a year in Cincy. If I don't like it, I can move on. If I like it, I can resign. But it's genius, really, if you're that talented to only ever sign single-year deals.
Yeah, so our pitching's not bad. I think we can get far with it. Our hitting's pretty good. The team. Cincinnati was long ball capitalists last year. They lived and died by home runs, and they got killed by the Braves. Because the Braves outfield was just insane, and they couldn't get out of Turner Field. But I think with Nick Castellanos or whatever his name is, he's going to be in the running for MVP. I think the Reds.
I mean,
Moose is back, baby.
For more than a year, and with a COVID year, it was hard to get back in a groove. But those are career players.
Spring training doesn't matter, but the Reds are killing it. Spring training, they're doing great.
Yeah,
Joey
the Indians
back,
are
and he fixed his
hitting
swing.
the bed for spring training. So
I can, at this point in my Reds fan career, I can take or leave Joey Votto. I think we've paid him too much for the last 3 years to do nothing and to be mediocre. But I think they'll finish second, maybe in the NL Central, maybe third behind St. Louis.
So many improvements. They're looking really good. But Cincinnati, other than that, top down, it's still not a very strong division.
No.
Yeah.
So they could make a very good push for a wild card spot.
And that's what helps the Indians with the AL Central and how weak it was for years.
And contribute
in that. Is mostly small market teams and Chicago. It's like or medium market, I suppose. But dude, like Wisconsin, they're like 30th.
Milwaukee. Like they don't even have big cities around them. Their 3 biggest cities don't even add up to like the population of Houston. Like it's so weird that they have a team at all. But they're part of that NL Central with us, and it's like okay, so it's all small market teams and the Cubs. It's like you just can't beat money. That's the thing. Yeah, and especially in baseball with no cap, you can't. The Yankees will always run their division. The Dodgers will always run theirs, and it's because they have money to spend. And they always will have money to spend.
No cap.
All right. Next up, so because baseball is starting up next week, I want to hear your way too early predictions for the World Series winner. Unless you've been watching spring training, we really have no clue what any teams look like on the field. We know what they look like on paper. But way too early predictions. I'm going to take the Dodgers. That pitching lineup they have, is just killer. 3 Cy Young winners is almost impossible to beat. I know that the Indians were close whenever they had 2 Cy Young winners, and they were a rain delay away from winning it all. You've now have 3, so I think it's kind of locked in. You can't beat Bauer and Sale and Brady. Help me out here. Who's the third one?
Clayton Kershaw.
Thank you, Clayton Kershaw. You can't win a 3-game series against him because you're gonna face off against 1 or 2 of them, and that's tough to beat. So I got the Dodgers going all the way.
For my NL, I'm gonna have Atlanta and San Diego, and my AL, I'm gonna have Tampa Bay and New York, and I think my final is gonna be New York and San Diego.
Now, which New York do you mean? Because I feel like you're gonna say the Mets.
He said AL, so it'd be Yankees.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sacco has hot takes, so I can't say that it's out of the picture for
The
him.
Mets are up there. The Mets are up
They're
there.
still not shaping up to be awful, but
yeah, they'll do better. They took a lot of our star players, and I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Lindor will go on to have a great season, and good luck to him. But
yeah, I wish him nothing but the best. I wish he could have stayed, but the ownership in Cleveland is terrible, and I hate you, Paul Dolan. This is me calling you out. We said weeks ago on the show we need to start calling people out more. Paul Dolan, I hate you. Please sell the team to someone else and get out of my life. You're ruining it.
yeah, honestly, I don't see where our future is in Cleveland.
It's at the bottom of a bottle. They need to bring back Dime Beer Night because that's going to be the only thing that brings me into Cleveland in the next few seasons.
But they've proven they're not going to stick around. They don't want to pay for these players.
Yeah. Maybe LeBron will buy the team after he retires from the NBA, and I can be happy. That being said, he just bought part of the Red Sox, so I don't know.
I don't know what that's about. He's been a Yankees fan his whole life.
Yeah. I think he'll try and be like, oh yeah, I'm in on Cleveland a bit, and maybe he'll buy the Indians. Maybe he'll do it. I can hope. In my heart of hearts, I can believe LeBron will be like, I want to look out for my home, and I'm going to buy the Indians. Brady, who is your way too early prediction for the World Series winner?
I'm gonna go with the Padres. They don't have the greatest pitching lineup, but they have one of the greatest fielding and hitting teams ever this season. So I'm going with them.
All right. Everyone's riding high on the Padres. Matt, who you taking?
I think the World Series will be the White Sox and the Braves. I am all in on the Braves, and the White Sox are up and coming, man. Tim Anderson, and the Braves just signed Pablo Sandoval. So, and they released our boy Jason Kipnis. So,
Kipnis, please come back, please. Yeah. I need to know another name on that field.
He's on the Cubs.
What?
He's on the Cubs.
On the Cubs.
No, because we traded him to the Cubs. Then the Cubs sent him to the Braves, and then I guess now the Braves cut him. And
literally less than an hour ago, the Braves got him.
Yeah, it just happened.
But I was looking at Braves stuff. I have a buddy named Sean who's a huge Braves fan, and I hate him because the Braves lately are better than the Reds. But we'd always go to Reds games now, so I keep up on that stuff just to mess with them. Now I'm like, with the Braves, and then you got Tim Anderson and Yon Moncada. I can't remember his name. He's a right-handed.
Yon Moncada.
Yeah, dude, he's freaking. I think the Sox have gone from rebuilding to.
Some guy just got hurt on their team. I don't remember who it was. Was there Abreu?
Probably.
I think it was.
But
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I had something here in on my notes. I have to find it now. But whatever. I think it's.
No, it was
way too early.
Way
too early. I hope it is the Braves and the White Sox just to get someone else in there. You know what I mean? I do think you can't beat money, but I think the Braves might be able to take it, and I hope the White Sox can.
Yeah, that's the one issue I owe with baseball is with no cap you can't beat money. So no matter what, at the end of the day, it's whoever has all the money, and it's Boston, it's New York, it's LA, it's Houston. And you see that in their records. The Yankees have how many World Series wins? Too many. I mean, yeah, obviously Boston went on a streak where they couldn't win one, but they've now the rest of their sports made out for it. So Boston fans can all. This is going to be me also calling out Boston. I'm going to call you guys are spoiled. Boston sports are so spoiled that the parade kid upsets me every time I see him. That kid has been to like 18 parades in his 19 years of existence, and me and Brady collectively have maybe had the opportunity to go to 2. Because we both would have had an Ohio State national championship, and then a Cavs World Series win, and that's about it. That's all we got.
My God.
They're
What? I just dropped some off my dresser.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
It sounded like something like your desk fell apart there. All right. So last bit of the show we got is March Madness thus far. I'm betting everyone's brackets are destroyed. There's no chance of you winning anything.
Big chance of me losing though.
I would say right now, I think I'm like the best I got is like 9th or 10th place, and it's still like a tie. And everyone I'm tied with has a chance to still pass me. Sadly, our girl Erin Polsey couldn't make it. Definitely send her some money on Venmo or something. Her bracket's entirely demolished. Her Final Four, I don't even think exists. I think she had Ohio State, Illinois, Iowa, and Michigan. So Michigan is her one chance. And I know that she won't do it. She won't cheer for Michigan to save her bracket. But brackets definitely got busted by everyone. So that's something. How about there are more double-digit teams in this current round of March Madness that starts up Saturday today, whatever day this comes out, than 1 seeds. There's actually more double digits than 2 seeds as well. And it's just crazy to see like that there's that many upsets, that Oral Roberts is in the Sweet 16. And I did not know I thought that was just a joke. I was like, yeah, they're not going to win anything. It's just a funny team name that I might pick winning one because it's a funny name. We did.
I don't think they'll get past Arkansas though.
Definitely. I mean, they got past Ohio State and Florida, so who knows? Maybe they'll go all the way.
Someone's got to give.
Yeah.
Someone's got to give.
Yeah. We did pick some of the upsets, though. I know Brady did pick Abilene Christian as one. I did see that in our comments that somebody pointed out that Brady picked the Abilene Christian upset, and I was like, really? But yeah, so we did pick some of these upsets, and some of our advice was solid. Other parts of it probably not as much. Alabama's still in it, right? So yeah, that definitely was a piece of advice I think that I gave that was totally wrong. I think a lot of us did say Ohio State was going to make it kind of far, same as OU. OU won a game. I will say OU won a game, and it definitely was something I didn't see coming at first. But right now, heading into the Sweet 16, do you have a favorite to win it all, given all of the upsets we've had? Because for me, it's Gonzaga still going to win it. Nothing changed. Gonzaga still beats everybody by 20, 30 points. Nobody can keep up with them. And I don't think we're going to see anybody that can, based off what we've seen so far. No one can keep up with them. Brady?
I don't think anyone can beat Gonzaga. And they're just too good.
Yeah. Matt?
I think I really want I really want Arkansas to go. I know they won't, but I really want them to. I just like the way they play. And I don't logically think anyone can beat Gonzaga. I'd like to watch Syracuse do it, like get there as well. But since I kind of need Syracuse to lose for me to not lose our challenge here at work, I don't want them to go. But something about Jim Boeheim being in his 35th tournament and his son playing and just hitting daggers all the time. I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, the fact that there's videos.
I can root for the orange, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's videos of Buddy hanging out with Carmelo Anthony as like a 3-year-old whenever his dad. Yeah. It's crazy to think that Jim Boeheim has been there so long that his son went from like a little kid chasing around Carmelo Anthony as a college athlete to now being a college athlete
do.
that could
Yeah.
possibly play with Melo, that could possibly play with him.
Yeah.
Loyola, I think they showed that they're very talented, that they were able to they found the one way to shut down Illinois, and it's take Kofi Cockburn out of the game, who I know I talked about it whenever I was at work. He shoots 98%, but he can't score outside the paint. Yeah, he's 7 foot tall and just an animal. And I think his player comparison would be Shaquille O'Neal, that if he's in the paint, he's going to score. But they found out, shut him out, keep him out. If you can keep his hands off the rim, he's not going to touch. He's not going to score a point. And that's how they beat Illinois. And I think that could be how they beat Illinois State. Is this team plays defense really well. And I think we're going to see the sisters celebrating some more in the Elite Eight.
Yeah. No, I think my pick, I'm going to go with Woo Pig. I'm going to go with Arkansas. I just want them to go. I want them.
All right. Do you see any more upsets coming in this?
I think Syracuse could upset Houston. I think it could happen.
It might. It's a long shot, but yeah, that if I had to pick any of the upsets, the only one, maybe Florida State over Michigan. I think I need that to keep any chance of my bracket being unbusted. But that's definitely not as much of an upset as the Syracuse over Houston.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love for Nova to beat Baylor today, but
well, if Baylor loses, it definitely helps my chances. It hurts my Final Four, but it definitely helps my chances of winning because I think everyone I'm up against has Baylor. I'm not the sole Gonzaga person, but I think I'm the best Gonzaga person.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I love underdogs.
Everyone loves the underdog story. That's the thing. Like, it's a universally loved thing to see the underdog. It's kind of why you want to see Oral Roberts beat Arkansas, and it's just kind of like, well, they're the ultimate underdog. They beat a 2, they beat a 7. If they beat a 3,
it's why you watch March Madness. No one watches it to just see Gonzaga bowl over everybody.
Yeah, I do, but that's because I always have Gonzaga win. That's like March Madness. I'm like, Gonzaga wins it. For years I never knew where they were at. Now I know they're in Washington finally, but I was like, yeah, Gonzaga will win it. I just like the name. They're gonna win it, and they could be a 5 seed or like a 1 seed. I just have them winning it because I like the team, and now it's tough for me. This is the one year they're like, they are completely superior over everybody, and I'm like, I wanted them to win anyway. Like I would have had them win.
Morrison.
Yeah. It's why do I have Butler? Why do I have Georgetown? Why do I have Xavier win a game? I just see their name and I'm like, they'll win 1. They have to win 1. Yeah. Obviously, I was wrong about Georgetown, but
so was Patrick Ewing. You see the meme they put out of him, and he's like,
all right. I believe that's all we have for the show. We lost John for that last bit, and I think he definitely would have had some thoughts, but that's all we have. Remember to give us a like, comment, subscribe. I know Matt does the every other Wednesday show on YouTube. Go check it out. It is wonderful. I really got to try and get on the show because I love me chicken wings. I don't enjoy the hot as much, but I've had the hottest before, and I know I can handle it.
Mm-hmm,
all right, let's do it. Let's get you guys on. You can be my next guest. You and Brady.
All right, we'll definitely be looking forward to it. Yeah, just remember, leave us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, share the video if you really think that we're funny or we have some insight that you think is important. And again, we always do this every week. If you're a high school, college athlete, high school, college coach, if you have any sort of expertise towards sports and you want to come on the show, shoot us a DM on Twitter or on Facebook at Power10 Sports. Shoot me a DM, Andrew Gibb, on all platforms because I was cheap like that and managed to get my name as my handle on everything. But yeah, and also look out soon. Synergy Sign was so kind as to provide us with stickers. We will be doing giveaways for those in the coming weeks. Just remember to check out Facebook, Twitter. We'll definitely be doing kind of trivia and things like that. Whoever wins will kind of put into a drawing and they'll win some stickers. And if you guys are really interested in the stickers and all that, we might start doing other merchandise as well. That's all we have. Thank you for tuning in. And remember to tune in next week whenever we have Percy Gardner on for opening day. It's big deal. We got Percy Gardner on.
PG-3?
I know he doesn't watch the show, so I can already say I'm gonna have the jersey I bought for the small amount of time where he was on the Indians and supposed to be in the rotation. We bought the jerseys and they got cut a week later. But yeah,
Hey.
Percy Gardner will be on
Yeah.
next week, and I'm excited to hear what he has to say about opening day. So remember to tune in for that. Thank you for coming on, Matt.
Hey,
Yeah,
my
that's our
pleasure.
show. Thank you.